This is cap. The fact that we're conflating these things is wild.
The problem when you women tend to expand the definition of things to include other words that just don't go together.
Sweet, you a damn lie.
You a damn lie.
You is a damn lie. You just talking.
Oh, this
you just talking, just hear your damn self talk. Just a bunch of bullshit that came out about your mouth. And I'm so glad I heard you on this other device. Ooh. Because that's a damn lie.
I'm learning so much right now. Wow. So this is what I hear when I'm listening to the women talk. And just walk with me for a second. I believe that women create very false ideals in reality. Like there seems to be this position based on what you guys said that you want to remain in, and you base honesty or actions behind honesty on how you see it. And as you guys were talking, I was like, I wonder if this same mindset exists in the idea of behind your body count. If a man was to ask you how many men have you had sex with, and then we find where there may be truth or a lie. Because from what I've gathered, most of the time, if men ever ask you, I don't know any women that actually tell the truth. So if you're entering into a relationship where you're creating an idea that you're not a slut, a hoe, or being promiscuous, that is false pretenses. By omission, you're being dishonest. So you're presenting that you're this type of woman when in actuality, you're not. And we really don't have any way of proving it. But if we were to ask, I put money on it. I don't believe most women would actually be honest. And I think that's why sometimes it's interesting, because from the male's perspective, we're like, lying is cheating? At least how I heard it. I don't believe that to be true. I think that if somebody acts on cheating, they didn't necessarily have to lie to do it. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because it's interesting. A man, a person should be able to be honest about their actions or their thoughts. But as you guys were talking, what I got from it was like, I wonder if this mindset is consistent with body count. Because one thing I know about women that I've observed is something about their secrecy and their ability to make choices that we'll never be able to vet or verify. Y'all want to keep. So that's what I got from it. I know it's a whole different direction, but that's why I'm blown away. I'm like, this is wild to me.
Yeah, but true, that was dope. That was real. I think, I'm not gonna argue with the cheating. Cheating could be considered dishonest. I'm gonna let women have that. But I don't think lying is the same as cheating, because a lot of times, based on a lot of people's delusion, I'm not gonna even say women, but your partner's delusion, whether it be your male partner's delusion from a female perspective, or your female delusion as a man from a male perspective, sometimes you might lie because people just don't know how to handle the truth. And I'm not talking about lying about something atrocious. Like, I cheated on you. Why? No. Your breath stink. Your body odor was a little off. I ain't want to tell you because I ain't want to hurt your feelings. Like, sometimes we lie about shit like that. So I think that when we just put all lies into one category, it's like sometimes people that try to just brace themselves because they don't think you can handle, like, hey, I lied about acting like what you said the other day didn't bother me. It really did bother me. So I just think that putting that in the same category as lying is a little stretch, because you lie for different reasons.
Okay, I'm just going to say this. If you're cheating, you already did it. Ain't shit I can do about it. Ain't nothing I can do about you cheating. But if you lying to me, like, say, for instance, it could be fixed. What if it was something that could have been fixed? That's why I said, like, if you lying about our connection or where we stand in a relationship, you didn't even have to cheat. I feel like the lying can be premeditated. Maybe you're thinking about meeting up with someone, so you lying to me about meeting somebody at the bar. So you done already cheated. It's an action. You already done did it. You already done cheated. You come to me saying I done cheated. What the fuck can I do about that? When we could have talked about it, or we could have fixed the situation. So that's all I'm saying. Like, that's why I feel like lying is cheating, cheating is lying. Like, I feel like if you lie to me, you'll cheat on me. You'll steal. You'll do all those things.
If a man say, hey, I was supposed to have a conversation with you, but I didn't.
I can't hear you. Hold on.
I just want to ask you a quick question. I'm sorry, Sweeney. So if a man was like, baby, I know we had a disagreement last week, and I know that I told you I wasn't upset, but I lied. I am upset. You think that's equated to cheating?
Yeah, I was gonna say I call cap. Everything that Mommy 3 said, I call cap. because there ain't no way in hell you're gonna sit here and tell me that she said she actually told on herself. She said, "Yeah, if you lie about how you felt about me if you weren't happy, and then you go out and cheat on me, the problem isn't the lying part. The part is the fact that he went out and cheated. That I know that without a shadow of a doubt. Because let's keep it a bean. If one day she read through his journal that he wasn't happy about what was going on, and like he just wrote down like, man, some things that I'm not happy about in my relationship. And he was like, in his journal, he said, I'm kind of don't really feel like bringing it to her because I know this turns into a lot of problems. She is not going to treat that the same way as if she caught him cheating. She would be more understanding, may ask more questions about that than had he cheated on her and then she found out he cheated on her later. This is cap. The fact that we're conflating these things is wild.
The problem when you women tend to expand the definition of things to include other words that just don't go together.
Sweet, you a damn lie.
No, you a damn lie.
You is a damn lie. You just talking.
Oh, this
you just talking, just hear your damn self talk. Just a bunch of bullshit that came out about your mouth. And I'm so glad I heard you on this other device. Ooh. Because that's a damn lie.
So if someone is saying lying is cheating, all they're doing is expanding the
definition. Because I ain't finna even entertain.
The problem when women do this is they expand the definition of a word, like they expand the definition of cheating beyond the rule breaking, and so that way it can include any form of deception. Lying and deception are not synonymous, but they are adjacent to each other. And this is an issue because when you do that, you conflate major dishonesty with any lie. It confuses all the moral categories associated with the lying and the cheating. And then you like women, when y'all do this, y'all lose a kind of credibility by overgeneralizing things. Because if everything is cheating, nothing is cheating.
Yeah, go ahead. And then I got another question to present to y'all.
I believe it's realistic to think about a spectrum. And that's why I said like it does open up room for that conversation of like the why, the vulnerability, the understanding, the being, selfless and getting outside your body and using your logic versus how you feel. That's when you open up that to better know who you're dealing with, because that's also part of your discernment. But I feel like you can come back from a lie depending on what kind of lie is it. I'm hearing the conversation. It sounds like we're trying to merge the lie and cheating into the same thing. Like if you lied, then you cheated. If you cheated, you lied. They're not the same thing. You can go out and go sleep with a woman at work and come back and say, baby, I effed up. Okay, you might not be able to come back from that F up. And depending on if you was even safe and all the things that came up to it. I mean, one of these things you can come back from. You can come back from a lie. You can't come back from I slept with her. You know what I'm saying? Depending on who you're dealing with. You dealing with me, no, you can't come back from that. But this just comes down to how much do you really know your partner? Is it all about you? Me personally, I understand it's not all about me. And if I got a family, then I understand that there's other people involved. I can't make this ultimate decision based on how I feel because you lied on me, that now all of a sudden I'm going to decide that the father can't be in the house, the kids ain't going to have no daddy, I'm not going to have a man, when really we could have just had a conversation, had an understanding, had some clarity, had some truth, gave accountability, and then gave you the opportunity to be forgiven and watch your actions to make sure those things are consistent so that everybody can be happy given that you have a chance. There has to be room for grace. Ain't no grace for cheating, but there can be a grace for lie. That's how I think.
All right.
Willie,
so another
wait,
question
can I just ask Willie a question?
Go ahead.
Because I'm big on like words, like what he was saying, the difference between lying and deception. Lying and deception. So I guess with both. So technicalities, you're right. So this is go back to the splitting the hairs, right? So with lying is actually making a false statement, right? That you know to be true. But then the deception, it may be I didn't actually lie per se, but I'm intentionally misleading you to a outcome from what the truth is, right? So in reality, isn't that the same thing in terms of what the outcome is? I'm not saying that you specifically said, oh, this is blue when it's really red, right? So I guess that's what I want you to explain to me, because the outcome is the same in terms of I'm trying to get you to believe something different than what it actually is. That's what deception is.
If you're using the outcome to talk about the genesis of the issue, that's like saying, well, the outcome